Alright, Apple's all-new iPhone 14 series was just announced at their Far Out event, so here's 14 new things to know. So there are 4 new iPhone models here. The normal phones are the iPhone 14, which is normally sized at 6.1 inches, and the iPhone 14 Plus with a bigger 6.7-inch screen. Sadly, they've dropped the Mini this year. And for the Pros, you get a 6.1-inch normal size 14 Pro and a 6.7-inch iPhone 14 Pro Max. Once again, I'm sad about the loss of the iPhone Mini, but this new 14 Plus is a cheaper model with a bigger screen, so users can get a bigger viewing experience and a bigger battery without spending more for the Pro. And speaking of spending, the base iPhone 14 will start at $799, the larger 14 Plus is just $100 more than that at $899, and the Pro models start at $999 and $1099 respectively. These are the same prices as last year, but given the new larger iPhone 14 Plus, that brought a higher cost to it. I think that given the premium position of the market Apple is in, combined with the improvements they made, and how Android competition now is more expensive than these are actually pretty good prices. Alright. What's improved with design? On the baseline devices, not much. These appear like carbon copies of the iPhone 13, but there is a new larger size this time, as I mentioned earlier. There's also some slick new colors like this pastel blue and purple. The Pros also look much the same as last year's, but with a new space black color to replace graphite, and a pretty cool new purple which looks nice with the matte finish. Alright, onto display. The standard iPhone 14 models, apart from sizing, are unchanged from iPhone 13. This means sadly only a 60Hz refresh rate. It's still got a notch, it's still completely flat, but apart from refresh rate, the iPhone 13 screen was still really good. You got high brightness and great colors, so not much needed to be changed anyway. Now for the Pro models, there's some really cool stuff to talk about. Just as the leaks showed, there's a new pill cutout at top to replace the notch, and Apple did something really cool with this pill. It shows new information from various apps on it to take advantage of the space at the top of the screen. They call it the Dynamic Island, and I freaking love it. And there's a lot of new stuff with the Pro screens in terms of specs. There's an insane peak brightness of 2000 nits, making it extremely visible outside. And finally, you get an always-on display. These 14 Pros also keep the 120Hz ProMotion refresh rate of the 13 Pros. Now onto cameras, and there's some pretty big updates here. The standard models get larger screens with faster apertures, and there's a new action mode for video with extreme stabilization. But these $800 and $900 phones are still stuck with 12 megapixel sensors. So there's only so much they can do. But finally with the Pros, Apple has increased sensor resolution since 2015 with a new 48 megapixel main sensor on iPhone 14 Pro. This new amazing sensor majorly improves image detail and quality and twice the low light performance. The telephoto and ultra-wide cameras remain 12 megapixel sensors, but they're still both amazing with improved low light performance and better macro on the ultra-wide. Now, performance has also been improved, but come on, Apple. See, the way last year's lineup worked with the iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 mini, they get a standard A15 Bionic chip with a 6-core CPU and a 4-core GPU. This 4-core GPU was pretty fast and pretty good, but the Pro models got the A15 chip with a beefier 5-core GPU. So for these base models, the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus, they still have the last gen A15 chip, just with the improved GPU of the Pro models. And even though it is technically 18% faster, this is just lazy, because you're getting a last gen chip in this gen's iPhone for this gen's prices. But for the Pros, you do get the latest A16 chip. It's the fastest in a smartphone with a new 4nm process, and it's gonna be pretty cool to see what it can do. Now here's something I don't appreciate. For US models of these 4 devices, there's no physical SIM slot anymore. And I get it, eSIM, which is basically a piece of software or a digital version of a SIM card, it is technically better. It's more secure, more convenient, and you can have multiple of them. But I just don't see the problem with the physical SIM slot that it had to get chucked. So you're just seeing how the iPhone 14 series isn't really a huge overhaul. But there are some new features, most notably for safety. The iPhone 14 series is now equipped with crash detection sensors, so if you're in a car crash, it'll automatically contact emergency services. But also, a feature we've been waiting for since last year is satellite connectivity. So if you're off the grid and you get in an emergency, you can get in contact with emergency services. These new iPhones will include 2 years of satellite service with your purchase. Alright, so if you decide you want an iPhone 14, you won't have to wait long. Pre-orders begin this Friday, September 9th, and they'll be available the following week on September 16th. But should you get one? Here's my take. If you want a standard model iPhone, I think you should just get an iPhone 13. They're available for much less than the iPhone 14s, and they're so similar. Unless you really need satellite connectivity or new colors, these base devices really aren't much of an upgrade from the iPhone 13 series. Now for the Pros, these are worth it with impressive Pro technologies. If you want more out of your iPhone, I think you should buy a 14 Pro, one of this generation's devices. At the same prices they've been at for years, they're actually quite a good value. And since Android has gotten far more expensive in past years, getting even higher than the Pro model iPhones, I think these actually make a great value option. If you've enjoyed this video and how quick I went through everything, drop a like to let me know. And with that, I'm Max. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.